and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your latest Manchester United news, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight, as we always do. We're going to be talking about Casemiro, as you can see from the title of the video, and a potential replacement coming out of Wolves in relation to strengthening that area. We'll talk about that. I want to talk as well a little bit about Erik ten Hag and the links that he potentially might be leaving, and Waistcoat might be coming in to take over from him. So we'll look at the rumours that are surrounding that. I want to do a little bit of a deep dive as well on the centre-back area. We've been linked with a lot of centre-backs, even in the last 24 hours, so I'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, we'll talk about Lisandro Martinez. Mentioned it this morning a little bit on the morning news show that he could potentially return for Brentford, so we'll talk about that. But we've got a little bit of a change to the show tonight. We've got some of the members on. The usual two are with me. We've got Chris and Ben. They'll be chipping in with their opinions, and I think we might mention a certain 4-3 victory while we have you as well, and I'll try and mention that as much as I can between now and the end of the season, as long as we're still in the FA Cup. But how we doing, guys? All good?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, well, happy days. Well. Let's get it out of the way. I mean, the 4-3, you all know where I was, and but let me know, Chris. I mean, it must have been brilliant. Were you watching it from home or were you out for it?
I was out on the boat watching it because St. Patty's Day here, so we were out, and I was watching on the phone, and then I literally watched the game again when I got home, like on the big screen TV, and I watched it twice, and I've watched it a third time since then.
Yeah, brilliant. So, Ben, how about yourself?
Yeah, I was out watching it. I was at pub watching it with a few mates. Quality game.
Was there any Scousers there for you to kind of stick the knife into after it?
There was one. There was one out with us.
Excellent, excellent. You only need one. That's all you need. That's all you need. But lads, let's jump in and we'll start straight away, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the news surrounding United in the last maybe 24 hours or so. The first one I want to talk about is Casemiro. As everyone can see from the title of the video, you know, potential replacement for Casemiro. Manchester United supposedly, and this is according to the Mirror, and to be honest with you, we know how strong the Mirror have been in relation to, I suppose, getting information out of Manchester United since Erik ten Hag has been there, and 9 times out of 10 they've been pretty spot on with it. But supposedly United are weighing up a move for £40 million rated star Wolves midfielder João Gomez. Gomez could be in line to replace his fellow Brazilian at Old Trafford after being the subject of several United scouting trips this season. The 23-year-old joined Wolves for $12 million from Flamengo in January 2023. So look, obviously, guys, and Chris, I'll go to you on this one first. It's an area that we probably do need to improve on. You know, in relation to these rumours and these links with João Gomez, is it something you're happy to see, or you know, have you got? Obviously, I think the João Neves from Benfica is the word on everybody's lips, but when you're looking at 110 million of a release clause, there's a big difference between that and a 40 million pound player from Wolves.
No, I'm happy that we're looking at somebody. I mean, I'm looking at his stats a little bit. 23 years old, you know, he's already Premier League proven. Played at Wolves. Wolves has done pretty well. I mean, they're a little up and down, but I mean, I can honestly say I haven't like keyed in on him and watched him when we played Wolves and everything. But I mean, seems to be what we need. You know, he seems to be a little bit more of a true defensive midfielder and not, you know, more of a number 6 than anything. And I think that's what we need. And at 23 years old, I mean, for 40 million, I think that's, moving forward through all of our transfer talk and everything, I think that's going to be the key term. 40 million, 50 million, 40 million, 30 million. That's the Dan Ashworth way. So, I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, I like the fact that he's already playing in the Premier League. So that's a big plus for me.
Big plus. Ben, what about you? I mean, obviously, like Chris said, they're Premier League proven, and you know, there's something about defensive midfielders coming from South America that I like. You know, they just have I think they have the proper mentality. But would you be happy with this, or is there anyone specifically either you would like to see in that area come in?
No, I'm happy enough with that sort of move. I think that's where we need to go into it now as a club. That's the sort of players we need to bring in. We're looking for the future, aren't we? Yeah. We're not looking for overnight fix. We need couple of years, and then we'll be up challenging. And at 23, you say, give him 2
23,
years
yeah.
playing and see what he can do.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, and look, I mean, like I think a big part of where we're going to be going in the next couple of years is like what you guys said is these kind of 30, 40, 50 million pound players, and you know even hearing Jim Ratcliffe speaking the other day in his interview, and you know he was asked about Jude Bellingham, and you know kind of jokingly asked about signing Jude Bellingham or Kylian Mbappe. And I loved his answer, because his answer was like, no, we don't want to do that. We want to find the players that are up and coming, rather than spending too much money on the players that are already established and developed. And the way FFP is going at the moment, I think it's the way we have to go, and it's the way a lot of teams are going to have to go, in my opinion. Either that, or I think the bubble might just burst in this whole transfer market and the prices for players. But I mean, I don't see it slowing down, Chris, anytime soon. Do you? These kind of inflated prices where you're regularly seeing 80, 90, 100 million pound moves?
Honestly, I think the way FFP, I think within the next 2 years, you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see release clauses like this, because players aren't going to be moving at that point. Because, like, I mean, everybody wants to have João Neves and from Benfica, and but I mean, you spend 100 million on a 20-year-old kid that's not played in the Prem, and as good as he's played in the Champions League and everything like that. I just can't. I can't back that, because we need so much more than just one guy.
Yeah.
So, but I think that if FFP, and I'm going to preface this by saying, if they start taking bites out of teams, meaning there's really, like what they did with Everton, a deduction, Forest got a deduction. If they really start going after and hammering teams on what they're doing, then I think FFP is going to start dictating. You're going to see the 100 million release clauses come down to 75. And I think it's trending the right way to get the prices to drop a little bit, because, I mean, look at Barcelona. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, I mean, they've changed the way they've done business too, because they went out and got Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo when they were in their early 20s.
Well, even the fact that they were willing to wait 12 months and get Mbappe on a free.
Yes, 100%. Because otherwise, you're not. I mean, you can't pay. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, look what. I mean, no offense, he scored the second goal in the 4-3, but look what Anthony's done for us. At a price tag of 90 million. I mean, it hurts.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna. I think if. But again, I preface it by saying, if FFP stays the course and starts taking chunks out of teams because of if they have infractions, then I think it's really going to change how everybody spends at that point.
Yeah, and I did see a report actually today suggesting that United they're hiring an intermediary to make sure that we do stay the right side of FFP. So that's how important it's going to be for everybody. And I was reading something today, or did I hear a guy being interviewed saying that unless Chelsea sell up to 200 million worth of their players over the next 12 months or so, they're going to get slapped with a massive FFP. Whether that be another points deduction. I think it has to be a points deduction now, Ben, doesn't it? Like the days of fining teams and clubs for FFP infractions are gone, because it's a drop in the ocean more than anything else.
Yeah, it does. But the only thing that I've got negative with the point deduction is the fans getting hurt again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know, like if Forest get relegated, they've been docked points for something that the club's done, not the fan.
Yeah. That's a great point. Well, the one thing that I want to see more than anything else is that a decision be made on FFP before the end of the season, because there's been talks over the last couple of days suggesting that the league could actually end, and this FFP points deduction might come on one of the teams who stayed up, or went down, or whatever it may be. And like if Luton stayed up, for example, and all of a sudden, they might be told 3 or 4 weeks later that they're going to be going down, once the league ends. I mean, that can't happen. Let me see what some of the comments are saying here. Let's see. Danny says United 4-3 win over Liverpool was a great game and a great win. I like watching the old Manchester United. It certainly felt that way from the stadium. I ended up about 3 rows down for one of the goals after celebrating it. Nevertheless, says Jack and Chris coordinating the dress code. Oh yes, the old Under Armour. Yeah, I actually bought that on the way home in the airport. So I was cold.
Did you lose your other one or what?
No, I was. I only had a small one, and I was cold, and I was saying, "All right, I'm just going to get a new one here." So I went in, and it was on special offer for 40 quid. So I needed a new one for golf anyway. Danny says, "I'd like Casemiro to stay. He has still a lot to offer. His legs might be gone, and he might be past his best, but he still has plenty to offer." Well, Chris, I mean, whether we go out and get a new player or not, would you like to keep Casemiro for another 12 months, or with FFP, is now the time to maybe get 40, 50 million for him, maybe?
Well, okay. I would like to keep him. I like him. But if someone's willing to pay 40 to 50 for him, I think you have to sell him. It's the right business move at that point. I just, as much as, I mean, he's on the wrong side of 30. He's already shown, I don't want to say he's gone, but he's already shown a little bit of slowing down.
Well, we've started to talk about that. That's the problem,
Yeah. Yeah, well, we've started to talk about it, but I mean, his play his play this season isn't like it was last season. Let's be honest. And I don't know why that is, but I think if a reasonable offer comes in for him, then I think we have to sell him, because the other part of it is the wage part. If you can get him off the wage bill,
yeah.
That's
what I mentioned today on the, I'd like to get your opinion on it. I mentioned it on the morning news show that there was, he was obviously missing for the game on the weekend. He got advice from the club doctor saying that he was okay, he was able to play, and he actually went and got a second opinion from a doctor in Barcelona that he's worked with before, and he said there's a small injury there that could progressively get worse if you continue to play on it. Instantly in my head, that I got a reminder of Anthony Martial. Now, I'm not in any way, shape or form comparing Casemiro with Anthony Martial, but my point being is that if he wants to move to Saudi Arabia in the summer, Casemiro, I mean, behind the scenes, if he goes, do you know what, I think my time is up here, I've done 2 years, it's time to go, is this him maybe angling for a move so he doesn't have to play games and maybe doesn't have to get any injuries that would stop that move from happening?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that that's not the case. I mean, in my mind, but I mean, I'm going to put it towards something that's a little bit closer to home here. I don't know if you guys ever watched the NBA, but Kawhi Leonard, he plays for the LA Clippers basketball player. The whole story with him was the team he was playing for at the time, San Antonio Spurs, cleared him. He didn't feel right. He went and got a second opinion from someone else, and they said that there was something wrong. And, I mean, at that point, I look at it and say, if the player doesn't feel right, then the player doesn't feel right. I mean, he's really the only person to know. And, I don't think it's angling, because I think Casemiro is a little bit more professional than that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's a sandbagger, but I just think that I think it's the right time, especially if we're going to bring someone in for him.
Yeah, and Ben, does this now again? We're completely playing devil's advocate here, but does it potentially open the door? And I know the Manchester United medical department haven't been good this season by any stretch of the imagination, but players getting outside opinions, does it open the door for players to go, no, I don't want to play, and maybe not wanting to play is a bit strong, but if they feel that, I'm not right and I shouldn't be playing here in this game and I don't want to risk my, future move, if it's this year or next year or whatever it may be, with an injury, and they can go out and get a third party opinion and maybe say, here's a few fucking bob for you, are we running the risk with things like that?
Yeah, we are. I agree, but at least you'll know the players that you can trust, won't you?
Yeah.
Look at the squad that we've got. We know that there's players that's not good enough to play and they're getting games. The passion is there, the heart's there. Give them a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I not in any way questioning, Casemiro. Of course, I'm not. But yeah, it worries me when you've got a club doctor saying no, you're clear to play, and you see some outside interference maybe. Let's see what people are saying in the comments here. Neverword says Gomez 40 million, Neves 110. Get Gomez and buy the UCC lads all around of drinks and a packet of potatoes with the leftovers. As I said this morning, I'd love to see a replacement in and be an understudy to Casemiro. Yeah, I think that's the best option for everybody. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. Neverword says, Chris is on the money with that, honestly. Neves' price tag is ridiculous for a player that's possibly not Premier League proven. Luke says, Varane and Casemiro in top 10 wage bills in the world, two of the oldest on the list. We need need a new salary structure because we can't have these salaries for older players. And that's a great point by Luke, and I think it's one that United have been looking at with Varane specifically, that they're saying his contract is up at the end of the season. So if he doesn't, United want to keep him for another year, but they want to keep him on reduced terms rather than continuing to give him the money that he's getting at the moment. Neverword says Anthony with the correct people in the correct places in the club would have never cost us 90 million. I agree with that. Daryl says need to cut Varane and Casemiro wages too. Unless it's Liverpool, that lot crying would be quality. And Luke says City need to get a points deduction. It's becoming a joke with Forest and Everton having 10% of their charges, but getting points deductions makes no sense. Premier League needs to act and stop this mess. Yeah, I think probably the main reason for that is that they've got 115 charges, and it takes a lot longer to get through 115 than it does one or two when it comes to the likes of Everton and Forest. Danny says, you can't trust Anthony Martial. He was told not to have surgery, but he did to stop himself from being sold. Shocking. And Darryl says, that shouldn't be allowed to happen. The club has the say on players, so an outside doctor should have no say. There we go. Want to move it on a little bit, Ben, and get your opinion on the whole Eric Ten Hag out scenario and waistcoat Southgate in as a potential new manager of Manchester United. We're seeing some of the reports coming out in the last few days. Obviously, Ineos undecided about Eric Ten Hag's future amid Southgate admiration. We're also then seeing, other reports suggesting Sir Jim Ratcliffe's initial assessment of Eric Ten Hag has been positive. And then we're seeing the likes of Jamie Jackson in the Guardian saying Southgate is admired by Jim Ratcliffe and Brailsford. He's one of many potential new managers who enjoys this status. Look, you're obviously, an England fan and Gareth Southgate is your manager and so on and so forth. What do you make of this whole situation around United and potentially, would you like to first of all, do you like Gareth Southgate as England manager? And second of all, do you think he could potentially be a Manchester United manager?
No, I don't personally. Look, he is a good manager. You can't say he's not a bad manager. Well, you get Harry Maguire at Man U, can't get a game, walks into the England squad.
Yeah.
Then there's not much there. Calvin Phillips is the same. He walks into the England squad, never plays.
Yeah, but what is it with, obviously, because I'm an outsider looking in, but what is it, say, in England that there is such negativity around Gareth Southgate, considering he's been your most successful manager pretty much since, Sir Alf Ramsey?
That's just the fact he hasn't won anything, I think, more than anything. We've been close and close and close, haven't we? But
is there a sense
I think this Euros is going to be the big question because the team that we've got.
Yeah, and is there a sense of maybe missed opportunities over the last few years, given how good of a squad you've had?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I think he has to get the squad selection right. But I mean, in terms of being Manchester United manager, I've made my thoughts clear on this already. I don't want him as Manchester United manager. Absolutely no way.
Nah, keep away.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm getting a little bit worried with the whole with the whole prospect of a manager coming in to literally be a lapdog for Jim Radcliffe and Dave Brailsford, whoever it may be. And it's something that does concern me. And I think if Gareth Southgate was to come in as Manchester United manager, I think it would be an absolute nightmare. I really do. I think, and I think even given the problems that United have had over the last few years with the lack of a real, I suppose, dictator within that dressing room, I think Gareth Southgate doesn't give you that. I think he's the furthest from that. Gareth Southgate has done brilliantly with England in terms of, bringing the team together in something that hasn't been there before. When you've had your cliques between, the Liverpool, the Man Uniteds, the Chelsea players, I think Gareth Southgate has done fantastic in that aspect. But that's not what United need. United need a dictator, and I think Ten Hag is doing a good job. Go on, I see you shaking your head.
No, how much of this do you think is real?
Well, my worry here, Chris, is that there's too many outlets reporting it for it not to be true.
But how many? I mean, and I don't want to bring another name in Goldbridge, but I kind of agree with him a little bit on the fact that it's so much United hate.
Yeah.
That the people that are reporting it are the people that really haven't gotten a lot right with what's been going on with United in the recent history, in the recent couple months, couple years, and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of look at it. And the one thing I'm upset with is I'm upset that Ratcliffe or Brailsford or whoever doesn't come out and just say no. Not even, I'm not even saying no. I mean, this is not the right time for them to be quiet. This is the time we just came off a big 4-3 win. Well, that's another time we'll say it. But they need to come out and just, support the club and say, we're not even looking at this right now. It's not important. Let's embrace the fact that we just won and we're in the FA.
Do you know why I think that's? Do you know why I think that's the case? I think that's the case because it's basically going to be the director of football's decision to make when he comes in.
And if Dan Ashworth appoints Gareth Southgate, I'm going to be gone for 3 years until he's gone.
Dan Ashworth had a big part to play, if I'm correct, in appointing Southgate as England manager.
What a douchebag.
And he's worked very close with him behind the scenes at England as well. So there is a big connection between Dan Ashworth and Gareth Southgate. So maybe that's something to do with the reports coming out.
So maybe we can root for the fact that, no offense to Ben, that England bottles it in the Euros and then Gareth Southgate goes away, because then you won't even consider him, because if he does a bottle job.
Well, the issue here is, and Ben, I'll ask you on this one, if Gareth Southgate was to win the Euros, is there a chance that he gets a new contract with England?
Yeah, I think he will. He'll get offered, whether he takes it or not. It's a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I would be very surprised if he won the Euros and didn't get an opportunity to bring him to the World Cup.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want him. If you were putting Eric Ten Hag up alongside Gareth Southgate, it has to be Eric Ten Hag.
100%.
Eric Ten Hag has to be one of the managers that we're looking at, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? We need to be looking at Eric Ten Hag as the future manager, let alone all of the people who are not actually the manager at the moment. And like it's been said over the past few weeks, if it was somebody else in the hot seat, let's say it was Solskjaer that we were talking about now, we'd be looking at somebody like Eric Ten Hag at the moment. And I think Ineos would as well. And that's a massive plus. Let me see what some of the people... Sorry, go on.
I just don't understand. I mean, does he have nude pictures of people that Gareth Southgate is like... How does he stay relevant? Because he hasn't done anything important. If you look at his record as what you call CV, you guys call it your CV there.
Yeah.
That you look at the resume, that his club resume is not good.
I know. Yeah.
And it's why is he his international stuff is not good either. So it's just why is he even being considered? I'm just more mad at United not coming out and saying, not that they have to back Ten Hag or anything like that, but just say that this is not important right now. You know, we'll make. I mean, for heaven's sake, we haven't been able to appoint Dan Ashworth yet, and now we're going to talk about a manager.
Yeah, and I think it actually is when you think about it in terms of the long term strategy from Ineos and Dave Brailsford and whoever else. I think it's quite smart that they haven't committed to anything yet. They're leaving as many doors open now. As fans, we especially after a win on the weekend, and our channel specifically in terms of what we want, we tend to be on the same wavelength with the majority of things. We want Eric Ten Hag to be given another chance. I think he will. I think this is probably all just noise. He is going to have to make a real go at that top four. And I mean, does he have to win the FA Cup? I mean, let me know. I mean, what do you think, Chris? I mean, if he doesn't finish in the Champions League spots and doesn't win the FA Cup, does he stay?
I think so. I mean, because I can look at it in a broad spectrum and look at the amount of injuries, and like we literally have had the back four that you wanted to start the season with. They played together one time all season, and like that says it all right there. And he hasn't had the backing of a board, so therefore I think that he's the right man for the job. He's dealt with all the controversies that he's had to deal with. Jadon Sancho, Cristiano Ronaldo, the David De Gea thing. I mean, you can kind of put a little bit on him on how he was treated and everything, but I don't know how much is truth and how much is just hearsay. But he's dealt with all of that, and yet we're still in contention. We're in the FA semifinal. With all that being said, like, what has Pochettino done at Chelsea? He got $1 billion worth of players, and he's 10th. And that's the guy that they wanted, Pochettino. That's what the English press wanted, and he's done nothing. I mean, I don't even think he could have handled Jadon Sancho. I don't think he could have. He could. I mean, I think we'd still be in a mess. We'd be 10th right now if we had Pochettino as our manager.
Yeah, I agree. And if we look at the league table, let me put it up like that. If we look at the league table, what are we? We're 6 points behind Spurs, and 9 behind Villa. So I mean, there is a lot of work to do. But I think it's doable. I think putting pressure is doable.
It is, but we have a 20-year-old striker. I think he's 20. How old is Hoyland? 20. He's 20 years old, and we got him at the end of the window. And we only got one striker when we needed 2. Come on, guys. This is kind of, now you're not, but we're still in contention.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
Ten Hag's worked wonders, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely, I agree. I want to move it on a little bit, guys, and talk about centre-backs and potential new centre-backs. What I'll do is I'll actually run down through some of the comments here and see what people are saying. Where did we leave off? Matthew is there. Good to see you. Neverwhere says, if Southgate, the option, get Neil Warnock on the phone. Danny says, Gareth Southgate is not an upgrade on Eric Ten Hag. He's a downgrade, so I'd rather keep Ten Hag. Gareth Southgate, not good enough. That is going backwards, not forwards. Ten Hag deserves time. A blind Turkey could do that with England squad with what Southgate has done. Darryl says, what has he accomplished in his managerial career? He's won Sweet all and has some of the best players in the league, and England has had a collective. Well, the one thing I would say about Gareth Southgate in terms of managing England and managing, say, the likes of Manchester United is that when you're managing England, you literally get to pick the best players in the country, 3 or 4 times a year, rather than having to coach and develop and improve week in, week out. And I think that's a massive plus for Ten Hag, more than anything else. Luke says, I can't describe it more than if it was my manager leaving the job, we would be crying out to take Eric Ten Hag as manager. Fields are green, far away. We need to stick with him. That's the reason he's here. There we go. And Neverwhere says, honestly, unpopular opinion, maybe a European drop for a season would help us do the massive reset that Eric Ten Hag has been trying to do. Well, the one issue with that is that the amount of revenue that European football brings in, even if it's Europa League, it's huge, and I think, given the strains we've had with FFP over the last couple of seasons, I think Europe is a must. I really, really do. But centre backs, guys, let's talk about centre backs. I'll run down through a couple of them quick here. So the first one, again, I tend to brush over who's actually talking about these. Now, some of them are Italian journalists and so on and so forth, so I'm not 100% sure who they are. But United have scouted Atalanta's centre-back, Giorgio Scalvini, multiple times in the past few weeks. He is part of a list of several names for centre-back position. Another one we've been linked with is Gleason Bremer. Dan Ashworth has recommended the signing of the centre-back to Manchester United. The club have already been tracking him for months, and there's a strong belief that this deal can be done with Juventus under pressure to sell big names to help ease financial worries. The other one then is, someone else say it, please.
Go on, Chris.
Adarabioyo. I really hope I'm not absolutely butchering that. Adarabioyo. Adarabioyo. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Anyway,
Can we just call him Tosin?
The Fulham guy, Tosin,
Yeah.
Tosin, we'll call him. Yeah, so Manchester United are interested in Tosin from centre-back, who is out of contract in the summer. He's played for Manchester City's academy and is interested in returning to Manchester. He was a United fan growing up, so there we go. Now, I'll pull up some stats on all of these. If we're talking about Scalvini, first and foremost, 20 years of age, centre-back, right-footed, and we're looking at about 45 million over here on the right-hand side. Now, that's euros, so about anywhere between 35 and 40 million pounds. Obviously, we're looking at Bremer. He's the most expensive one. Again, a centre-back. I think he's right-footed as well, so he would be a right centre-back, and you're looking at about 60 million. And then, of course, Tosin is 15 million, but his contract is up at the end of the season. Looking at these players, guys, obviously, Tosin is actually 26 years of age. I think that just rules him out for me straight away. I think 26 years of age, if you're playing for Fulham, if you're getting him on a free, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
We've spoken before that we need depth in our squad. And I think it is important to have depth in your squad at all areas. So maybe that's an option there. And he is English. When you're talking about Bremer, he's 27 years of age. You're going to be spending the most money on him. So all of this has to come into account. And of course, Scalvini is 20 years of age at 45 million. I can't pretend that I know an awful lot about any of these guys. Chris, would you have a preference? Or obviously there are other centre-backs that we're looking at. Obviously Brantwaite is I think the player we're going to be linked with most heavily between now and the end of the season.
He's left-footed though, Brantwaite, right?
He is left-footed. That's right. Yeah.
But what happened to Todibo?
Who?
The guy from
Todibo. Sorry.
Todibo, yeah.
Todibo, yeah. There was reports last week suggesting that Nice, even though Jim Ratcliffe owns Nice, that they're not going to be getting bullied, but in terms of a transfer fee for him. So,
I mean, I would. In the research that I did before, when I heard the names and everything like that, I haven't researched these guys, but like Todibo, I think is my first choice. And then, I mean, I don't know about Scalvini. I mean, he seems a little slight. And Atalanta, they don't do us any favors when it comes to transfer fees. So it's not going to be 40 million. He's going to be at least at 20 years old. You're thinking 55 to 60.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Todibo and Bremer would be. I mean, I don't mind the age of Bremer at the moment, but it's not going to be a long-term solution. But if you bring two in, but I still think you sign Tosin if you can get him on a free, who cares?
Yeah, just as depth more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be first choice. He's not going to be our first choice center back, but if you were able to sell Lindelof and you bring Tosin in as depth at that point, then I would say that
Luke has explained it to us there. It's Adarboyo.
Okay, we're going to call him Tosin.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's on the back of his shirt at Fulham.
Well, that'll do. If I knew his number, that's what I would call him.
But no, I mean, none of those. I mean, Todibo is the one that I think is best suited for us. I don't know about Brantwaite. I think unless Everton goes down, he's gonna be 60, 70 million, I think, for Brantwaite.
Ben, have you got a preference on? Obviously, it looks like it is going to be, two centre backs in the summer. A right and a left footer. If it is going to be maybe Harry Maguire moving on, and you're talking maybe who else we're talking about? Maybe Varane moving on as well. I mean, we're going to need probably a right and a left footer. You would expect.
Yeah, I ain't got no preferences really. Like you say, we don't really know enough about these players, do we? But
Yeah,
if we can get one on a free, get him in.
yeah,
Because
100%.
we've got more important. I think we've got more important places to worry about.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's an area that, like, I want to pull up Brantwaite, Braint, Brantwaite, Everton. I just want to check his price more than anything else and what he's actually going for. If we're looking at it, their Brantwaite is. I mean, they're saying at the moment his valuation is coming in at 30 million. Which now again, I mean, if Everton get relegated, I think you could get him for 30 million, because I think players tend to go on the cheap when teams do get relegated. But I think if Everton stay up, I think that's when he will, his price will jump up. But
yeah,
some of the positives coming out over the last 24 hours or so, even since this morning, was in relation to this guy. And Manchester United are set to bring Lisandro Martinez back into the fold, potentially for the Brentford game on the 30th of this month. Now, he is in the Argentinian squad at the moment. By all accounts, there has been an agreement with the club and with Argentina that he only goes to train and that he is not to be included in any of the match day squads. And I want to get your thoughts on it, Ben, because obviously we've mentioned before that, I think he came back too soon before this season, didn't he, with one of his injuries? And it wasn't long before he got another injury. Is there a concern at bringing Lisandro Martinez back too soon, Ben? Or, like I said it this morning on the morning news show, that I wanted, if he's available even for Brentford, I say leave him out of the squad. We've got 3 games in 8 days when we come back. Out of the squad for Brentford, on the bench for Chelsea the following Thursday, and then that Sunday he's available to start then against Liverpool. Would you rush him back, or would you give him time? What do you reckon?
no, give him time. Is that sort of player? He'd play tomorrow with a broken leg if he wanted to.
Yeah,
Is that
100%.
sort of player into? So you've got to look after him as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
And Chris, what's the juggling act here for Ten Hag specifically? Because he's a manager that's supposedly fighting for his job. I mean, surely it gets to a stage where he has to take a risk and go, I have to risk you if we want to continue to win games, because of course we've got a better chance if Martinez is in the team.
I think that for Brentford, I think you bring him on. I don't think you start him. I mean, because I think for at least that game and Chelsea, you limit his minutes, but you got to give him minutes before he goes to play a Liverpool game.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way. I think that's the right way to do it. So you can kind of just you monitor him a little bit, and because our defense has not been the issue in the past couple of games with them gone. So I think you monitor him, you give him the minutes, and then you move on from there. I mean, I would say against Chelsea. I mean, Brentford's important. I don't want to look past Brentford, but Chelsea, having Martinez for Chelsea game, maybe you start him in that game and you only play him for 60 minutes at that game, at that point, because I think it's important for him, because at the speed that Chelsea plays, I think it's important to have Martinez in the back four for us in that point. But I think you limit him. I don't think you let him play 90 minutes. I think you play 45 minutes to 60 minutes, and that's it. And then you let him loose on Liverpool, and you let him crush some people.
Another 4-3. I'd take it. I'd take it now if you offered it to me.
I'd take 4-0 at that point.
yeah, absolutely. Let's see what people are saying here. Luke says Brandtwaite at United on United pages was linked for 75 million, and that's what Everton were asking for. Yeah, well, again, I'm just going off of I'm going off of transfermarket.co.uk. It's obviously not the most reliable source in the world.
Usually transfer market, whatever they evaluate, you got to at least add 20 million to that, and that's what the asking price is usually. What is where it starts, because even in previous, when they valued Hoyland and everything like that, it's usually 20 to 25 million over what the actual asking price is from transfer market. So
it's brilliant for statistics and all, but I think the actual valuations are not that good on it. Neverworld says, absolutely not. As you said this morning, Jack, out for Brentford and bench for Chelsea and get ready for the bin dippers. Oshin says, let's cross everything that nothing happens in Argentina. Need him back if we have any hope of top 4. Danny says we can't rush Martinez back. Look what happened last time. We did it about time we let players recover fully before bringing them back. Oshin says you can't risk him at all against Brentford. Get him in for Chelsea, then he'll be raring to eat Salah. Ate him without salt.
I think that Aaron Wan-Bissaka ate him already.
Now. Sorry now, I don't blow my own trumpet that much, all right? But did I or did I not? Did I or did I not call that Aaron Wan-Bissaka would start at left back in my match preview?
100%.
You know what I mean? I mean, you can call me Mystic Jack because I predict these things, as Conor McGregor once said.
That, Jack. What did you say about Anthony coming on for Hoyland?
Oh yeah, I did say that as well. Yeah. That was a bit. I think the whole fucking stadium were saying that at that stage. We're going, oh no. But
Jack, how was the stadium when he did make the subs? Was it like up
to be honest with you,
or?
it wasn't overly negative. I have to say, because I think we could understand the substitutions that he made. He was bringing off Hoyland, for example, who was only back from injury. He'd done the same thing with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, so that was okay as well. And when you go into extra time, you have to make changes. You know, you have to freshen it up. And yeah, I mean, I liked the gamble out with Ten Hag. I have to say, it reminded you old school of Fergie, where he just went, "Fuck it, here, throw on the attackers. Let's go for it. We've got nothing to lose." You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
And I think it added to the feel within the stadium then as well. You know, and I think there was a massive, not just a sigh of relief when Anthony scored, but I got the sense from everyone around, say, at least in the section that I was in, that they were just delighted for him. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody ever, everybody can spew hate, but I don't think anybody ever hates or wishes someone to play bad. Maybe Anthony Martial, but that's just different. He's been around too long. But, I mean, did you hear the comments from Klopp after the game?
Oh, yeah. Now, I didn't hear him. We were back in the pub having a few pints when I was checking it and seeing it on Twitter and stuff like that, and it just makes it makes it all sweeter. You know what I mean?
I mean, it just I can't. He's talking about how many games they played, and we don't know how many games United has played. It's just like, why don't you just say you lost? Like, just say you lost.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of fucking shite. We could have played only 2 more games last season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, in terms of all the competitions we were in, and we maxed out. You know what I mean? So fuck him and fuck them.
And then he signs an extension.
I saw that.
And then he signs the extension.
Yeah.
For 2 years after he said he was done.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Jurgen Klopp signed an extension.
He's staying at Liverpool.
Yeah, for 2 more years.
No, he's not, is he?
Yeah. Ben, did you not see that?
Yeah.
Fuck off, boys, now, and don't be telling me that. That was the video he done 2 years ago.
No.
It was. I'm not having this shit with you anymore, you fuckers. Fuck off, right? You're not coming on this channel anymore. I have enough. That was you have a verbal warning for the first one. You're getting your first written warning now. You're on your last fucking chance, you bastards. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was just there kind of out of the corner of my eye, just going to Google it on the other screen I have here, going, wait now, what is going on? But, yeah, thank God. But it was brilliant, though, lads. I have to say, like, the atmosphere was, and I think, to be honest with you, I think what made the atmosphere even better was the fact that, do you know the way in Old Trafford, the away section is only in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's anywhere between maybe 3,000 and 5,000 fans you get in there. Liverpool took up 9,000 seats.
Wow.
They were allocated. Now I think maybe it's different with the FA Cup. They
Yeah.
had the whole upper tier behind the goal opposite to the Stretford end, as well as that corner section.
Really?
Yeah, the whole and I think that just made the atmosphere even better. You know what I mean? Because it was just they score or we score, and and then they score and they go in front. It had everything. It had absolutely everything. I don't think. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I will ever top that for just atmosphere within the stadium.
Don't say that. I mean, we got to do better at some point.
No, but
in the near future.
there's people. Yeah, I know, but there is people saying that's the greatest FA Cup tie that Manchester United have ever played at Old Trafford. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'll give him that. So
Yeah.
let me ask this question, Jack. Do you sell McTominay this summer?
Yes, I think you do. And the reason for it is, now look, I've said it before, I actually don't mind if Scott McTominay stays, but as a squad player only. I think he does give you other options, you know what I mean? I think if he's played in that right position, it's, he can be effective in games. But
What position
I think
is that?
that in that kind of number 10 role or that kind of number 8 role where he can get into the box. But no, I think he's one of the players now that we cash in on. I'm delighted that he's had a great season because one, it's helped the team an awful lot, and two, it helps his price tag go up, which is good for us if we are trying to sell him. But yeah, it was brilliant. I loved the vlog. Was brilliant. The vlog, putting up the matchday vlog, is one of the best videos that's ever done on the channel. I think I got 700 or 800 new subscribers off it. So any new subscribers, welcome. So yeah, it was brilliant. Great weekend. I won money in the bookies. None of the flights were delayed. I drank 15 pints of Guinness and I wasn't even hungover the next day. So it was absolutely fantastic.
How much would you have? McDonald's or Supermax?
Oh, there's no Supermax in England. Supermax
okay.
is specifically Irish. It hasn't made it outside of Ireland yet. So yeah, I did get a McDonald's on the way back to the hotel though. I got a Big Mac meal. But yeah, brilliant. Lads, we'll leave it there. Thanks for stopping by as always, and we might do something similar maybe next week because we've got no watch-alongs again.
Are you doing any further friendlies or no?
I don't know. I potentially might do a watch-along for the Ireland game. But to be honest with you, I probably won't. I don't even know when. I think they're playing Sunday. I think is it.
Who does England play, Ben?
When do we play?
He played Brazil on.
Yeah, I know it's Brazil we play. When is it? It's.
Is it Saturday maybe? Let me see.
Yeah. Friday.
Oh no, Ireland are playing Belgium on Saturday at 5:00, and Brazil are on at 7 against England. But England is maybe I'll do a watch along for that. France and Germany are playing at 8:00. Sorry.
Watch Kobe play for England.
Watch Kobe play for England. Maybe so. Maybe.
I mean, the funny thing is, you made the comment that Gareth Southgate gets to pick the best players out of England for his squad. I don't even think he gets that right.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Jordan Henderson's in there, isn't he?
I know. Like, why? How do you pick Jordan Henderson ever at this point?
I mean, if I could get away with it with the wife, I could literally do a double watch along Ireland and Belgium at 5, and then go straight into the England-Brazil game at 7. But we're going to have to.
Your wife's going to kill you.
I know, yeah, I know. I have been gone away for the weekend as well. So anyway, let's leave it there, guys. Before I say something that I shouldn't, and get myself in more trouble. I didn't drink 15 pints of Guinness. I swear, it was only 10.
Yeah.
But lads, look, thanks for joining. I'll see you on the weekend. Hopefully, we'll get a watch along in. Hopefully, at some stage.
Yeah, no worries.
And if not, we'll see you next week. All right.
Perfect. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for watching as well, guys. Please do smash a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you want to become an official member, like the two guys, Ben and Chris, these kind of things are available to official members only, when you can come on screen, give your opinion, have a chat with us and stuff like that. It's a very open and I don't know, whatever the words are, it's your channel. It's not mine. It's your channel. So if you want to become an official channel member, the link is in the description. You get some extra content, access to a WhatsApp group, private WhatsApp group, all of them kind of things. Go check it out. Link is in the description. Thanks to all the new subscribers as well who have watched the match day vlog. I think there's close to 700 new subscribers that have come directly from that video. So it's absolutely fantastic. You're welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining, and yeah, I'll be back in the morning, guys, with the morning news show. Until then, have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.